Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm a little bit irritated right now because I just tried to film this video and spent about 20 minutes on it and my phone cut off. It would not record anymore. So I'm going to have to try and speed it up this time. This is my review on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I know I'm late to the party, but honestly, I buy all of my makeup with my own money. If I don't like something, I will return it, which is why I don't buy things online, because return policies can sometimes suck, especially Kylie Cosmetics, which is the only reason that I'm not reviewing her stuff. Well, that, and I don't really support the Kardashian family, but that's another story. So, Modern Renaissance palette. This is what the box looks like. It is a nice, like, warm pink, purplish mauve color. Modern Renaissance printed on here, raised Anastasia Beverly Hills logo stamped in. The back looks like this, has all of the ingredients for every shadow, has a picture of the palette on the back. And let's get into this. So, you open it, and here's the palette. If you have been on YouTube for any amount of time and you're watching this video, you probably already know what this looks like. But this is what it looks like. Modern Renaissance stamped, Anastasia Beverly Hills stamped. It is a really nice velvet material. Has a picture, not a picture, but a sticker of all the ingredients on the back. Personally, I don't like the packaging. It would not be a problem if it was just basic plastic. This material is known to hold on to pigment, and that would not be a problem, except for the fact that these shadows are very dusty and have a lot of kickback. So if you get anything on your fingers and you don't realize it, it's going to stick to this. So this is what the inside looks like. This is able to flip all the way back, but I really don't think it's meant to because of the fact that the spine is already cracked. And this is not how I hold my palette. This is how I hold my palette. So the fact that it is doing that is not good. It does come with this brush. This is a double-ended shadow brush. It comes with like a pencil side, and then it comes with a shader side. I like this. I don't like, however, that you don't have a brush to apply shadow to just your lid. I had to pull in a Wet n Wild brush for that. This is good for applying the color to the outer corner and then blending it out, which is what I had to do with this. So what I'm going to do today is do finger swatches and brush swatches of every shade in here. Dry hand. I have a dried out baby wipe right here. It has a little bit of like makeup from when I wipe my face, but I don't have anything else dry. I have a wet baby wipe to wipe my hand off in between colors. And for the lighter colors, I'm going to use my Wet n Wild shader brush. You can get this for $1 anywhere that you can find Wet n Wild. And then for like the crease colors, I'm going to use my Wet n Wild shader brush. And this has been used just because I filmed this video already, but this is stained. It has white bristles. There's nothing on here, so let us continue with this. Alright, I'm going to try and edit this video as little as possible, meaning I'm not going to pause as much as I can, because I've seen people do brush swatches and finger swatches, and people in the comments just, I've seen people tear other YouTubers apart because they edited their video at a certain point and it just seemed inconvenient for them. So I'm going to start out hands dry. I'm going to start out with top shade, go this way, bottom shade, go that way. So I'm doing Tempera right here. This is a matte, like cream shade. That's what it looks like right there. Wet n Wild. I'm also going to show you on camera me dipping my brush into the product. Color. There you go. Pretty much looks the same. No drama with that color. Then next we have Golden Ochre, which is right here. Finger. Color. Dry hand. There you go. This would make a good transition shade. So I'm going to use my Wet n Wild shader brush. And this is what I mean by powder and kickback that can get stuck on the actual outside of the package. Tap off the excess. This is what you do when you apply shadow. That's the only reason I'm doing this, so that you get the actual look of the application on here. Dip in again. Takes a little bit of building up, but there you go. Next shade is called Vermeer. I'm actually wearing Vermeer. I'm wearing Tempera on my brow bone and Vermeer on my inner corner and a little bit on my lower lash line. So this is Vermeer. It is a metallic, I guess you would say, shimmer shade. It's very creamy. Dry hand. I just wiped that off my finger. Good job, me. Let's go back into Vermeer. I wipe. It's right there. I don't know why it's right there. There you go. There's Vermeer. And I'm going to use my flat shader brush. Sorry if I keep looking down. I have everything right in front of me. And then powder. There you go. It's obviously not as pigmented with the brush, so this is a shade that you could apply with your finger if you really wanted to. Next shade is Beyond Fresco. I don't know if that's how you say it, but it's right there. It matches the outside of the packaging, so that's like the incorporated color. So it looks like that. It is a matte, like mauve purple. Has a little bit of chunkiness and powderiness to it. And I'm going to go in with my Wet n Wild crease. Tap off the excess and blend. And I'm actually going to blend this color out so you can see the difference in applying it and then blending it than just blending it. So there's that shade. Next shade is called Antique Bronze, which is exactly what it says it is. It is a bronze shade right there. This is one that you would want to apply with your finger. It's almost like creamy feeling. It looks like that. And then this is not a shade that I would apply with a crease brush because it will not blend out very well. So I'm going to go in with my Wet n Wild shader brush. Right there. Thank you, son. And as you can see, there is powder, and most of it stays on the brush. So I would recommend using your finger with this shade. Okay, next shade is called Love Letter, which is possibly my favorite color in the palette. It is right there. I also use this as a mixture on my outer corner and my crease. It is a matte, like burgundy, just straight up burgundy purplish red shade, and that's what it looks like there. It is one of those shades that you kind of have to work with a little bit because it applies all the color and then it kind of drags, as you can see. And then I'm going to go in with my Wet n Wild crease brush. And there you go. And blend this out. That does not want to move. Ha! That's funny. Alright, next shade is called Cypress Umber. This is another shade that I'm wearing on my outer corner. This color doesn't really want to come off. So we're going to have to swatch underneath that. If you're wondering what I'm doing when I do this, it's because I'm wiping the wet off of my hand. Okay, Cypress Umber. This is the darkest shade in the palette. Regrettably, I wish they would have had a darker brown or possibly even a black. But there you go. So it's a dark brown. Looks like that. There's powder, kickback, a little bit of patchiness. I'm going to take my crease brush. It's another one that has quite a bit of powder. I'm doing this at a distance so you can actually see the color, because when I get up close, the colors kind of change because of my lighting. Everything goes a little bit more orange. There you go. So this is one of the better shades in the palette. One of the ones that actually transfers really well using a brush. So I appreciate that. The next shade is called Raw Sienna, and we are now on the second row. So Raw Sienna is the first color on the second row. Raw Sienna and Burnt Orange look very similar, so I'm actually going to do these next to each other. So we have Raw Sienna, Burnt Orange. Okay, so that is Raw Sienna. and that is burnt orange. As you can see, burnt orange is obviously more orange. Raw sienna has a little bit of powderiness. Burnt orange, not so much. Now I'm going to take my Wet n Wild crease brush. Why is there a dark spot on my carpet? That's great. Take raw sienna. These would be good transition shades, just as well as golden ochre. So raw sienna. There's raw sienna. And then burnt orange. I don't know if you saw all that powder that kicked up when I did that. There you go. So they do transfer pretty well, but honestly, once they're blended out, they look pretty similar. They don't give that much of a difference on your face. So next color is called Primavera, which I actually have on my lid. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but there's Primavera right here. And this is another shade where you would either want to wet your brush or use your finger to apply. Just like Antique Bronze, because it's one of those like silicone feeling shades. There we go. And then I'm going to use my Wet n Wild flat shader. And there you go. Obviously not as pigmented with the brush, so that's why I said you can use your fingers. Do whatever you want, but I would recommend using your fingers. Next shade is called Red Ochre, which is another one that I have in my outer corner. This is another favorite. It's like a deep brick red. It's right there. I didn't even show it to you guys. Looks like that. It's another one that's a little bit patchy. You have to work with it a little bit. Use my Wet n Wild brush. There you go. And that's why it's one of my favorites, because it actually goes on really well. So I like that shade. The next one is called Venetian Red, which is a little really similar to Love Letter. There's Venetian Red and there's Love Letter. Venetian Red actually has quite a bit, not quite a bit, but a little bit of shimmer in it. It's another one that's a little bit patchy that you would need to work with a little bit. Go in with my Wet n Wild brush. This one obviously is not transferring very well. And there is color on there, just so y'all can see. It's coming off a little bit orange, but that's what that looks like. So that's why I said that a lot of these colors you need to apply them with like the pencil side of that brush and then blend them out. And that Venetian Red does not want to come off my hand. Next we have Warm Taupe, which is a matte taupe color. I'm doing good on time. I'm like 5 minutes faster than before. Which this one has a little bit of powder. Can't really see it in the camera, but it has a little bit of powderiness. I'm going to use my Wet n Wild. Lots of kickback. Back in. Go. And last but not least, we have Real Gar. Not even sure if that's how you say it, but that is how it is spelt. So this is one of the shades that I actually put on the outer side or the outer edge of my crease colors to kind of blend them out. So Real Gar is this like matte orange right here. This is really pretty, but it's another one that you need to work with because it's a little bit patchy. So that is the last shade. So overall, I do like this palette. I decided to pick it up. I was deciding between this and the Sweet Peach palette. I may actually still pick up the Sweet Peach palette if this video actually does really well, which I'm not even sure if it will, but if this video is liked enough, I'll probably pick up the Sweet Peach palette and do the same kind of video with that. I picked this up because I don't have any other palette like this. A lot of my palettes are like neutrals or neutrals or neutrals, and I don't really have very many like colorful shadows. Even though I have the Lorac Pirates of the Caribbean palette, it's not really super colorful, which I don't have a problem with. I love that palette, but I do think that this was worth the money. I chose this over the Sweet Peach palette because the Sweet Peach has a lot of like shimmers, and I'm not a shimmery shadow person. I'm a matte shadow person. So I do think this was worth the money. I just really dislike the texture of the packaging. So if this review was helpful to you guys and you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more videos like this. And I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.